welcome back to my channel. My name is Idenise and this is Idenise Official Beauty. So you can find anything from beauty to lifestyle. So do check out the previous videos. If you like what you see, please go ahead, press that red button and subscribe and help the channel grow. So on today's video, we are going to be talking about why educators or ECEs or early childhood educators are leaving the field, okay? So if you have not watched the previous video where I talk about working as an EC in Canada, please go and check out that video. There will be a lot more videos like these to come because I am passionate about this field and I am motivated and determined to put out the things that's happening in the field out there, okay? Whether it's the good, the bad, it is what it is, okay? But anyways, if you did not know, I do work as an early childhood educator. I am currently working with school agers in a daycare. I've been doing this over about 7 years. Yeah, 7 years, and I've worked from toddlers to preschoolers, kindergarten, and like I said, school agers. So yeah, so there is a lot to talk about. For a minute, I did went and leave this career for a very short minute, very brief, because of COVID. Also, I did not return to the field right away, so I ended up going to work as a support worker, and then I realized it's not for me, so I came back into the field. But I also realized that COVID taught me and a lot of ECEs a lot of things, and one of the things that I noticed is that ECEs left the field, although that was previously happening. But a lot of ECEs, good ECEs, great ECEs who are passionate about this career, who've been in this career for years, have left the field. And there is a lot of reasons why that's happening. A lot of us do not talk about it. A lot of us do not, it's not put out there. I mean, it's put out there in a sense, but it's not out there. So if you're watching this video, I'm going to put it out there, okay? And if there's any point that I'm missing, please put it in the description box below and let me know, because these are the things that I am seeing and I'm going to put it out there, and why a lot of ECEs are giving up on this beautiful, complicated career called educator, okay? Well, anyways, the first thing I would say is the multiple workloads that ECEs get. I would probably say that's one of the reasons why, or it contributes to one of the reasons why a lot of ECEs leave the career, because it's a lot of work. It's simply, from working in this career, what I can tell you about the workload is, it's, like I said, it's a lot of work. Let's put it like that. I think what's happening over the years too is you used to just come to work and you just work as an ECE. But with so many requirements from the ministry, from criteria, I mean, the field is constantly changing, program is constantly changing, health and safety is constantly changing. So you feel a little bit tense as an ECE because you don't quite know where you fit in these type of things. So you already have to deal with the children, you already have to do a programming every week, you already have to get this done every week, you know, you gotta be a good team worker, you gotta make sure the children are protected, you know, and then you got a lot of paperwork to be done at the end of the week. I mean, it is a lot of work. So ECEs don't quite know what is their position in the workplace. Well, most ECEs, okay? I won't say all. There are great working functional daycares that, you know, they have a very good functional system. But I'm talking about those daycares where ECEs feel out of place. They don't quite know what's their position. That can be draining and it can be exhausting. You know what I mean? When you feel like you're done with something, then something new comes. The thing is, when you are in a room, the person that they look to or they come to for everything is the ECE. It's not the ECA. So that can be tense for an educator when everything is put on his or her back. You know what I mean? So it's a lot to keep up with, and that can be exhausted by the end of the week. So I'm not even talking about that by the end of the month. So a lot of ECEs have a lot of workload. And it's like I said, it's not just babysitting. It could be administrative. Sometimes you feel like you're doing administrative work. Sometimes you feel like you're doing supervisor's job, because you have to be the lead of this, and you got to be the lead of that, and then you got to take care of the children. I mean, and then you have to make sure, like, medication and food, and there's a lot that goes on. Okay, so that can make an ECE, like I said, exhausted and not want to be a part of it. Okay, that alone. Okay? Another reason why a lot of ECEs could be leaving the field is because of bad relationships. I know nobody wants to hear about this. I know nobody wants to talk about it, but obviously it is loud and clear. Now, like I said before, there is great working places. There is great daycares. However, majority of daycares are not run very properly in terms of relationship. Okay, I don't know, because it's a very, like, ECE is probably 95% women. Women alone is very dramatic. Okay, and ECE quite requires leadership. Okay, you need some type of leadership to run a room, to run a program, to do this, to do that. You understand what I'm saying? So you definitely need some type of unity, togetherness, teamwork. You need that in a daycare environment. And a lot of times these relationships that are formed into the daycare is a little bit too deep and a little bit out of line. Some relationship has no barrier. Sometimes you don't have the nice relationship with your supervisor. That can be very exhausting, very draining. There could be a stronghold power struggle there and trying to get your independency. I'm just being honest. And if you're in a daycare also, there could be bad relationship between the parents, between bad relationship between other people, like the children, etc. Like, I don't want to say specifically, but there's a lot of relationship that is formed in the daycare that can be very toxic, and that can be draining on an ECE and make an ECE feel less confident and not want to deal with it. Okay, I'm sorry to say that, guys, but that is the reality. There needs to be a lot of improvements with relationships, and how relationships are developed and formed in the workplace, because a lot of these relationships I'm seeing is a little bit too favoritism. It goes on. That could be one of the reasons why a lot of ECEs, or contribute to why a lot of ECEs are leaving the field, simply because the relationship is very poor. Okay. It is what it is. Okay. Anyway, the next thing I would say that a lot of people don't really mention to why a lot of ECEs leave the field is the program itself. Okay, the program itself can be loaded. I used to work as a morning after school program, and it's a 6-hour program. 2 hours in the morning, 1 hour program planning, and 3 hours in the afternoon. That alone was a lot. It was multitasking. It was going back and forth from one side to another side. It's draining, and you have a lot to be done at the end of the week. You have a lot to be done at the end of the month, just for a small program. So that's not worth it. It's so exhausting. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, this field is constantly changing. There's so much requirement that needs to be met at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, that you can't really keep up with all the other rest of things that's going on, and like I said, the program, a good ECE try to have a good enriched program for the children. You know what I mean? But that takes a lot of thoughts, that takes a lot of reflection, that takes a lot of time. You know what I mean? On an after school program. So another thing that can exhaust an ECE, especially in terms of program and keeping up with the program, is sometimes the person you're working with is not always there, So I used to have ECE, ECA that would work with me, and they would take them and put them somewhere else. So I kind of have to deal with everything on my own until I would have that ECA or ECE that worked with me. You know what I mean? I had a great ECE who I worked with. I love working with her. But there are times she's in and out of the room to another side because somebody went on vacation or this or that or this happened, and I'm left with a new person constantly. So I have to keep telling or keep showing that person about the program and what the program is all about, and that is extremely exhausting. The person might not understand the projects that the children are doing. They might not understand the interest or observation that the children are into. So it's all left up to that ECE. You know what I mean? So the program itself, if they don't have the support that they need, it can be a lot of work. I won't say that's normally why an ECE would leave this field, but it can contribute to why. Okay. All right, guys. So I just want to put out some points that I didn't make on the previous clip in terms of the program. So I want to make a point about ratios. A lot of times that means the amount of children in the room. This is a constant problem in a lot of daycares where the ratio can be a lot for an ECE or even an ECA. Let's say if the ratio is 1 to 12 for school agers, sometimes that ECE is stuck with up to 15 children, 20 children, based on how many staff they have in a daycare. I mean, like I said, like a lot of the daycares are not functionally running, you know what I mean, properly. So you will have a lot of issues in terms of the amount of children in a room with an ECE. And sometimes the room can be off ratio. That can still be problematic because you might have 2-3 children that are on the spectrum side or that needs more support, and one ECE or an ECA cannot handle that in one room. So I just wanted to make that point. Also, in terms of a program, ratio can be a problem. Okay, so yeah, so let's continue with the video. Another reason why an ECE would leave this field or leaving this field is the pay. It's the pay, okay? And I would say within my 7 years, I had that one job, the morning after school program. They paid me well. I won't complain. They paid me well. It was a nonprofit. They were really great. However, when I first started my first job, I started off at $16.95. I went to college. Okay. I know a lot of people will say, well, at least you got 16 something. Most ECEs should not be starting at 16. Okay. Then I went to my second job. I started I went back like $2 down, which was $14. But that's what I was being paid. And that took a toll on me because there's so much going on. I got my bills to pay. I got this to pay. And I have this to be done. But I'm not, by the time I get my money, ain't nothing left. And then back to work. It's like I'm working for free. Okay, with all of this requirement going on and all of this going on, it's like I'm working for free. And you have to understand, like, most ECE job is Monday through Friday. It's normally like, I would say, a 9 to 5 job, whether it's from 7 to 3 or 9 to 10 or whatever. It is a 7-hour to 8-hour job. So most ECEs are relying on having their 7 hours, their 7-point hours, or even their 8 hours. Okay, they're relying on that. Now, if you're working in a morning after school program like I did, I was 6 hours, but thankfully they paid me what I need to be paid at the time. Yes, it still was a lot of work. You understand what I'm saying? So most of us are relying on our 7-hour job, but because sometimes the daycare, sometimes they may not have enough hours, and sometimes they give you 6 hours, and sometimes they give you 6.5 hours or 7 hours, or however they want to put it. There is no stability in the workplace. And when you do take those hours, like I said, when it all add up, it's not really worth it. So there is no consistency, there is no benefit in working as an educator nowadays, because you don't know how your hours are going to go, because especially if you don't have that pay, especially if your pay is not up, so it can be devastating for a lot of ECEs, especially if you don't have a support system, you are on your own, and you rely on your career. I mean, of course, you work with children, you do it with love, but you want to make sure you're benefiting from your career also. What's the point in working as a career? And, the reason why I'm back here is because I love it. You understand what I'm saying? I love it. That's why I'm back here. The job that I was doing previously before, they was paying me more money, although I had to work extra hours, but I love the field. You understand what I'm saying? So the pay in majority of these workplaces needs to go up. So the ECEs are like, heck to the no, I got to go. Okay, this will probably be my last point on why a lot of ECEs does not stay in the workplace or are leaving the workplace, and that is health. Okay, nobody gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. Now, before a lot of people say, oh, well, you work with children, you should drink a lot of water, you should take care of health. Everybody should. Everybody on the planet should. But this can be a stressful job. Okay, it can be a stressful job. Like I said, you are dealing with children, different personality, different temperament, program planning, the whole program has to be done. You got to deal with relationships and, make sure you're getting along, make sure everybody is on the same road. And normally that's not how it is most time. There's a lot of requirement that can mess with your health, you know what I mean? So a lot of that you take home with you. By the time you get home, you're drained mentally, you're exhausted mentally, and you're thinking about, well, what did I get done, what I have to be done for the next week, what's next, what's on the program for the next day, and there are a lot of ECEs that are taking their work home. So imagine they have 2 days off and they're taking that home, and it's the same thing with teachers. They have to take their work home. You understand what I'm saying? So your health can be very tricky in this field, and you have to be careful of that. I've had students that I've worked with, I've had other co-workers I've worked with, and they say, Denise, you need to see the doctor, check your blood pressure. And this was back then when I first started, like, check your blood pressure, whatever. And I'm just saying, honestly, a lot of ECEs who love this field would love to stay in this field, but if it's messing with their health, they're not going to stay. They're going to find a different route on other things they can do with their career. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I would say. I mean, although I try to stay in the best health, I try to drink a lot of water, I try to eat fruits and vegetables, although that don't happen majority of the time, but I try. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're working in a job that is balanced, that you love, you're comfortable with. So there's going to be a lot of videos where I talk about how to be focused as an ECE, how to get job and evaluate jobs that you want in this field, or other things you can do as an educator in this field. I mean, there's a lot more videos to come, but definitely health is one of the reasons why a lot of ECEs are not coming back, because they don't have a support system to support them when it comes to their health. A lot of ECEs are working jobs with no insurance, especially a lot of private jobs. They don't give insurance. Imagine that. No, you can't be at a job they don't give benefits. Do that. You know what I mean? It's just not worth it. So that is why a lot of ECEs are leaving the field. I do know a lot of ECEs who've left the field and they've come back and they still feel a little drained. Like I said, this field has a lot of work to be done. You know what I mean? So I don't want to just talk about the ECE in just, I don't think perceive this as negative. It's just telling the truth. So, but there's a lot of positiveness in this field. But however, we're going down, and we need to bring this field back up to where it needs to be. Okay. But anyway, so that is it, guys. That is it for the video. I just repeated myself twice. I don't know why, but anyways, yeah, so let me know what you think. If you are ECE, if there's anything that I missed out on why a lot of ECEs leave the field. This is not to discourage anybody. There are great daycares out there, great jobs out there that are taking ECEs with their certificate. So go ahead. Okay, ECE rocks. Go ahead, go for your career. Make sure it is something that you love and you like to do. When you are job searching, make sure you're searching a good daycare that is going to treat you right, understand you, and support you. Okay, so that's all I can say for this video. Yeah, keep being the great ECE you are. And yeah, I will see you guys in another video. So peace out.